Nearly half of us will damage our phone this year, so paying for mobile phone protection each month is a good thing. But what if you could get it for free? Mobile phone protection comes with US Eagle checking, saving you about $150 a year. Visit gettheperks.org for checking that gives you more, because people mean more at US Eagle.
Terms and conditions apply. See US Eagle for details. Data based on Statista phone research. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey everybody, how are you doing? Hopefully you can hear me. Let's see here. Let me know if you can hear me. If not, I might need to fix this. Hope you guys are doing well. This is a live Q&A. Oh, awesome. Hey, Annika. This is a live Q&A. So I have some questions that have been sent in advance, and I'm going to answer those, but I also would like you guys to ask me questions that you may have as well. So perfect. Thank you, Linda. All right. So I'll start with one of the pre-asked questions, and then if you guys have anything, go ahead and throw it in the chat, and I will answer it. So this says, there's a lack of empathy in true crime, and many are quick to judge and place blame on the victims. Become desensitized to these cases. How can people do better when it comes to speaking on these cases? I think you guys have heard me talk about this before. It's really important to remember that we're talking about the worst day in somebody's life. And so for those true crime people, I would recommend that you always think about the victims. Think about the family members. Think about, being respectful, I think is very important. And don't be so quick to judge. It's really hard to know what things are going on based on a 45-minute, 50-minute show on a podcast. Somebody said that it's important to have conversations no matter how hard they can be. They used to feel like they couldn't listen to some stories because it was difficult, but imagining people who have lived it makes it a little bit easier to have empathy for it. Do you believe these conversations can help with the healing process? Yeah, so when we're talking about things like domestic violence and child abuse, I do feel like some of these conversations are really important and can be healing, but I think that the person telling their story needs to be ready to have that conversation. They need to be ready to talk about it. Otherwise it won't be healing. It could be traumatizing to them if they aren't ready to have that conversation. What advice would you give to people in the true crime industry, coming into the true crime industry? Well, there's so much that I would say. I think I would say, first of all, research. Do your research and make sure that you can verify the information before you talk about it. I think some of the problems that we see in true crime is that you may have a famous true crime podcaster that will tell you a story, and the information they have may be incorrect. And then you have other true crime podcasters that have listened to this person, and they take that same information and repeat it. And you have wrong information kind of going through in this weird cycle. I especially saw that with the Toy Box Killer case. So much misinformation out there on true crime shows that has been repeated on multiple shows. Hey, Margaret. And so that's one of the things I would say first and foremost is make sure you get your information correct. And it's really difficult. It takes a lot of effort. It takes me hours and hours and hours to research and get information, make sure that I have the right information. Hey, Kevin, thank you so much for joining. So I would say first, get your information right. Secondly, make sure that you are focusing on the victims and not sensationalizing the murderers or the people that have committed the crimes, because they get enough notoriety in the media. So focus on the victims. And then the third thing I would say is just make sure that you are not plagiarizing. That would be my 3 big advice pieces for people that are trying to get into true crime podcasting or true crime television. Any questions from the audience? People watching? And while we're doing that, I have a couple of shout outs to give. So let me do that real quick. I just wanted to get those early questions out because I thought those were good questions. So I need to say thank you so much to Autumn. Thank you to Brittany. Thank you to Lucy for being my most recent patron subscribers. I am very grateful for you. I can't produce this show without my patrons, so thank you so much for that. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody here. Oh, I need to say thank you to Deborah, Samantha. Thank you so much. All right, how do you do your research? Where do you start usually? Well, I really try hard not to rely on other podcasts for research because I feel like it is definitely a trap that people fall into where that wrong information gets repeated over and over again. So I usually start by looking at reputable news sources. I also go the extra mile and request public records from the local police department or court, depending on the case. Sometimes you can find information and case files on a website called Scribd, Scribd. So I've used that in the past as well. Let me see what else I use for research. And then I'll go to documentaries, sometimes YouTube, but most of my information is coming from case files and police records. No Wikipedia. Yeah, I would say stay away from Wikipedia, definitely, because Wikipedia can be problematic. What is your most favorite place that you have ever visited? Oh, that's a good question. I think it was probably Greece. I went to Greece a couple of years ago, and that was pretty amazing. Eric, you really inspired me to start podcasting as well. Like, I never thought little small town me could do it, but you kill it, and how you speak out for the victims. Keep kicking butt. Thank you so much. Hey, I'm from a small town too. Might even be the same small town that you're from, but it's that should never stop anybody from doing what they want to do and believing in themselves. I also need to shout out to some people that have bought me a coffee. So let's see here. Stevie Lee, Mackenzie, Jennifer, Rosario, Amanda. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Audrey, thank you. Melissa, thank you. Rachel, thank you. Ellie, thank you. Rachel, thank you. All of you guys have bought me coffee on ko-fi. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It means so much to me. Do the cases take a toll on you emotionally? If so, how do you handle it? Yes, they do, Chelsea. That's a really good question. They do take a toll on me emotionally, which is why I do seasons instead of producing an episode every week, because it does get really exhausting emotionally. I'm also in therapy, which helps me deal with it, but it's definitely a challenge to separate myself from it because I am so empathetic. And I have a really hard time not getting emotionally invested. I think some of the most difficult cases that I've covered are the ones relating to children. So, the case of the Hacienda de los Muchachos, the case of Victoria Martins, Robbie Romero, all of those have taken a pretty significant toll on me emotionally. We are from the same small town. I had a feeling. Hey, Amanda, how are you? All right, let me see what other questions I have here. I had some on Instagram I need to pull up as well. But you guys can keep asking questions if you have them. And thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I am definitely getting ready for season 4. So there's a lot of work there. But I don't have a date yet. I'm thinking June or July is probably when season 4 will be out. Let's see here. What advice would you give to anyone starting their own true crime podcast? I think I already answered that. Which Instagram account can we look at for the latest updates on Jacob's case? You can look at either True Consequences or the Justice for Jacob Instagram account. But I have to tell you, there's probably not going to be a lot of updates for a while. I hope you and your mom have forgiven yourselves. You were both trying to survive. Thank you for that. What has been the most rewarding part of this process? Oh my gosh, that's a really tough question for me to answer. I think just being helpful to other people. Hopefully I'm being helpful to other people. I think that has been the most rewarding part, is giving people a voice that may not be listened to, giving them a platform that they may not have without the show. I'm very proud of that, and it's very rewarding and fulfilling. So I think that's probably my answer for that. How is Angel's Voices Silence No More going? Any updates? So it's going slowly but surely. I am waiting for the secretary, whatever her name is. I forgot what her title is. I'm waiting for the state's offices to send me back my paperwork and tell me that it's all ready and good to go with my nonprofit status. So until I have that, I'm not going to start fundraising. I'm not going to start doing my grant proposals or any of that stuff, because I just want to have all those ducks in a row first before I actually start doing anything. But I have put together a team of people that are going to be working with me. Now I just need money. So, so for those of you who don't know, I am starting a nonprofit called Angel's Voices Silence No More. And it's going to have 3 important tiers to it. The first one is going to be advocacy. So True Consequences is going to fall under the umbrella of this nonprofit, and it'll be the media outreach voice and arm of the nonprofit to advocate for family members who are seeking justice. And then so the advocacy side is also going to include me helping family members to fight for justice for their loved ones. And so that's the first part. I'm also going to have some advocate volunteers that will help with navigating the legal process and all these other things. The second arm is education. So educating the public on how to advocate, but also education on domestic violence, child abuse, all those other things that are very important to me. And then the third part of it is going to be legislation and lobbying. So I will have, hopefully, a lawyer there. Hopefully we'll have a group of people that will help to lobby for legislation changes in New Mexico that will be more victim focused and will hopefully help to address the crime epidemic and the murder epidemic that is happening in New Mexico. For those of you who don't know, we have surpassed the record for homicides this year in Albuquerque, an annual record. We've surpassed that already, and it is only April, and we've surpassed it by far. So there needs to be some change, and so that's what the nonprofit's going to do, hopefully. And hopefully I can get some funding and make this thing a reality. Somebody asked me, how am I? That's a loaded question. I'm good. I think I'm good. I feel like I'm good. I don't know. I'm kind of going crazy. I have a lot going on. But I feel like I'm doing pretty good despite all that. Don't have any questions. I just want to say I saw you in Kindle Ray and have so much admiration for you. You just have a gift to inspire, lead, and genuinely help others. I support you. Oh, thank you, Christy. That's so nice. Hey, Michelle. Thank you so much. Well, I accept comments, not just questions. So if you have comments, you can throw those in there as well. Let's see here. All right. I'm trying to find these questions from Twitter. As soon as I turned 40, everything technological became very difficult for me. So forgive me as I fumble around here. Okay, here we go. Here's a couple questions. If you were any condiment, what would you be and why? I would be mustard. I would be spicy mustard because I'm bitter and spicy and delicious. Never mind, forget that. What do you do to relax? I love to go camping. I love to go hiking and travel. Those things help me relax. What's your top vacation destination? I would have to say Greece. Yeah. Would you ever consider running for public office in New Mexico? Well, yeah, I probably would consider that. It's definitely something that is on my mind, but I'm going to try to affect change without having to do that if I can help it. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll run for office. Have you ever ran into an office that gave you a hard time about seeking information or case files? Thank you for doing the hard work and getting these stories out there. Natalia, yeah, some police departments are not as willing to provide information as readily as possible. Some offices make it very difficult on purpose because they don't want to do the work that's involved in it. So they may say that, oh, it's going to be $1,000 for copies of something, even though you could potentially get it all digitally, and so it wouldn't have to be photocopied. But they say that to get you to not ask them for the record sometimes, which is frustrating, I think, because the law in New Mexico is very clear. If the office has digital records available, they're supposed to provide them for you digitally if you ask for them that way. But they often will use that as an excuse to not provide the information. And so there's a process you can go through to file a complaint against those offices, but it is, as you can imagine, tedious and red tape filled. So, but thank you for acknowledging, yeah, it is difficult sometimes. Sometimes case files can take months. I requested some case files in February February of last year that I still have not received. So it can be difficult. Has anyone ever told you you look like David Arquette? So Chelsea, excuse me. That's an inside joke. For those of you who don't know, that was something that people were saying on Kendall Ray's video that made me laugh. No, I don't want to be president, but thank you. How do you manage it all? I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out myself still, actually. And I feel like I have too much on my plate. So I'm trying to figure out how to minimize that so that I can really focus and do what I need to do. I'm definitely juggling a lot of things right now and evaluating what is the most important. And I think for me, the most important things are helping people get justice, helping advocate for others, and getting this information, like True Consequences episodes out. I think those are the top priorities, along with being able to pay my bills, right? So I have to work to be able to do that because contrary to popular belief, it's very difficult to make a lot of money podcasting. And not that I need a lot of money, I just need enough to live, basically. I am already overwhelmed at times. I'm overwhelmed all the time, Tanya. You see these bags under my eyes? They're real. I'm tired. Oh, thank you, JT. That's really nice. All right, let me see what other questions I had. I think somebody had asked me a question about Jacob's case. Any new developments? Yeah, I cannot really talk about it for a number of reasons, but I can tell you that we're making progress. And as soon as I have an update that I can share with everybody, I will definitely share that. What was your mom's reaction when she found out that the people were flooding the DA with calls? My mom was really proud of all of you, really, and really grateful for all of you for calling and emailing and reaching out to the district attorney. That made a huge impact on the case, more than anything else we've ever done. So definitely very grateful for all of that. Yeah. Am I still feeling positive about Jacob's case? Is that what you mean? Because if that's the question, then yes, I am still feeling positive about it. Yeah. I wish I could tell you guys. I do. I wish I could tell you, but I can't. I'm so sorry. Just know that it's really good. Like, imagine the best case scenario. That's what we're talking about here. So yeah, I feel like I just gave it away. Okay. What else do you guys want to talk about? Do you guys want to know anything about season 4 or anything about any of the other cases that I've covered in the past? I can tell you season 4 is going to be about there's going to be more focus on child cases. I just want to wish you luck. I hope justice is finally right around the corner. Thank you, Becca. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely closer than it's ever been. So I'm grateful for that. Let's see. Just making sure I didn't miss any questions on Instagram as I'm going through here. I do want to say thank you to the people that have made comments about my mom and supporting her and supporting me. It's been phenomenal. And the messages, I can't possibly respond to everybody, but the overwhelming amount of messages and emails and comments have been very, very helpful, very supportive, and I'm so grateful for that. Have there been any updates on any of your past cases? Not really. I mean, there's some potential updates coming for some of them. And as soon as I have any of those, I'll definitely provide updates either in the form of a podcast or in social media. There was one case where one perpetrator had been arrested, but they've since been released. So I'm not going to talk about that right now, which is disappointing because that person was definitely a danger to others. How has it been working with other content creators? Camilla, it's been amazing. Everybody that has helped amplify Jacob's voice, and I want to list them all right now, but I'll probably forget some. So if you just search for Justice for Jacob or Carter-Landin on your podcatcher, you're going to find so many different creators that have helped amplify Jacob's voice, and I'm forever grateful to them. I'm so grateful to people like Kendall Ray and Sarah Turney, the ladies at Crime Labs, Melissa Melanie from Mask of Sanity, Melissa from Victimology. Everybody who has covered Jacob's case has been so helpful. Excuse me, Kevin from the jury room, Crawl Space, the guys at Crawl Space. I can't thank everybody because there's so many other people that have helped. And the other cool thing is just getting to meet people that are in this content creation world. It's definitely been inspiring for me and helpful. What are some good ways to help support families after I release episodes? I think that giving them the opportunity to comment and to give feedback is very helpful for family members. I always try to make sure that they get to hear the episodes I create before everybody else does. That way, if anything needs to be changed, I can make adjustments prior to releasing it. And then asking them what else they need help with. Do they need help sharing petitions or phone numbers or any of that stuff? Because those things could be very helpful and important for the cases that they're fighting for justice for. So would love some hints about season 4. All right, let me pull up my list here. Let's see here. How long does it take to make a podcast episode? From start to finish, probably 7 or 8 hours, depending on how much research is needed. Definitely takes a long time. It's a lot of work, but definitely worth it if it's done right. But yeah, it can be definitely a lengthy process here. Let's see here. And I just said definitely like 75 times. So there's that. Let me see if I can find this. So I know for sure that I am doing Omar Varela. That case is heartbreaking. I'm going to be covering an unsolved murder, the murder of Sarah Beard. I'm going to be talking about the Nehemiah Griego case, Baby Brianna, which is a terrible one, the Torreon cabin murders. I'm going to be talking about John Hyde and Ricky Abeta. I'm going to talk about, I think that's what I'm going to leave you with. There's some more coming that I'm working on, but those are some season 4 hints. Thank you so much, Tanya. If you're working with other people or doing interviews, that can take longer. Absolutely. Yeah, working with others can definitely take longer. And then also waiting for case files and stuff like that can take a long time as well. So super excited about season 4, super excited about the nonprofit that's coming. And again, I'm just very grateful to all of you for everything that you have done to support me, to support my mom. I would love to make this my full-time job, so hopefully I can make this nonprofit work so that I can do that for a living and help others who are fighting for justice. I'm definitely not going to be satisfied until I feel like I've done enough, and I don't know if I'll ever feel like I've done enough. So, Jacob's case is not the end of what I'm doing here. It's just the beginning, and I want to help so many others to find some results and some closure, hopefully, eventually. What is your paying job? I'm in restaurant management, and I oversee like 40 locations. So I travel for work, keeps me busy, and makes it difficult to juggle everything, for sure. So yeah, any other questions that you folks might have before we wrap this up? I've already been talking for half an hour. I can't believe it. Thanks for sticking with me and listening to me ramble. And thanks for listening to the podcast. Super, super, super happy. Hey, Jessica, how are you? Anything else you folks want to know before we wrap it up? All right. Well, what's your favorite thing about being a podcaster? Oh, not being on video. Although I'm getting used to being on video now, doing these live streams, but being on video has definitely been a challenge for me to get used to. I think my favorite thing is just feeling like I'm helping in a small way, feeling like I'm making a slight difference in the lives of people who are looking for justice. That's definitely the most rewarding part of it. Yeah. So I do like podcasting, and I've gotten used to it. I've gotten used to talking in front of the microphone. I think the first episode I did, it was so uncomfortable for me. You understand this, Jessica, just feeling like you're talking to yourself. Sometimes it can be a little bit awkward. So that was an adjustment for me. And then learning how to edit was an adjustment for me as well. But I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying being a podcaster. So, all right, people. Well, if there are no other questions. Aaron Lewis. Oh, is that the guy from, isn't he a singer? Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Tanya. Oh yeah, that's the dude. What was the band he was in before? Because now he's like a country guy. He was in some band. Huh. I guess I could see it. Trevor Boyd was found. No, I didn't see that. Really? I'm Googling it right now. Found. Thanks, Becca. That's a very nice compliment. Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. Anyway, you guys don't want to watch me Googling things. I'll check that out later. Thank you all so much for being here for me and my mom and supporting the podcast, supporting Justice for Jacob. Hopefully, you guys will also support my new nonprofit efforts. Very, very excited about that. I think it's going to hopefully make an impact in New Mexico. That's my goal anyway. Yeah. If you want to support this show, you can go to patreon.com/trueconsequences. You can go to ko-fi/trueconsequences. You can go to trueconsequences.com. You can leave me a review. You can share my show with others. Again, anything that comes up, you guys can reach out to me. You can email me, eric@trueconsequences.com. You can DM me. Stain, that's right. That's what he was in. Yeah, I'm available. So I just want to say thank you for everything. I'm probably going to do another live stream this week. I'm shooting for Thursday, and I think it's going to be more of a focus on missing people in New Mexico. So I'm working on that. You should see that coming out on social media soon. But always, always, always feel free to reach out to me, ask your questions, and thank you so much for listening, and stay safe, New Mexico.